As we like to say around here, if it's Tuesday, someone's voting somewhere. And today, that somewhere is New York City. Nearly 1 million Democrats are expected to cast ballots in today's mayoral primary, choosing from a crowded slate of candidates. But polls show the contest has narrowed to a two-man fight between former Governor Andrew Cuomo and 33-year-old Democratic socialist Zohran Mamdani. In the final days before the election, Cuomo has been backed by big-name Democrats from the party establishment, picking up endorsements from former President Bill Clinton and South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn. Meanwhile, Mamdani has rallied the left with endorsements from Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Bernie Sanders. And turning up the heat on this race, the weather, with temperatures expected to top 100 degrees in New York City today. It's unclear how the extreme heat could impact turnout in the race to lead America's most populous city. And joining us now is my colleague Vaughn Hilliard from inside a polling site in New York City, and NBC's national political correspondent Steve Kornacki, as always, is at the big board. Thank you both for joining me. Vaughn, I want to start with you. You managed to catch up with both of the top contenders today. So what did they have to say about their vision for the city?
Right. You know, you could make the case that, of course, this is about who's going to run New York City for the years ahead. But also, in a lot of ways, these two men represent really and are reflective of the conversation happening within the Democratic Party nationally. You have 67-year-old Andrew Cuomo, three-term governor, backed by Bloomberg, backed by Bill Clinton. And then you have Zohran Mamdani, who has the endorsements of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Bernie Sanders. He would be the first Muslim mayor of New York. He's an immigrant himself, and he has been in the New York State Assembly for a few years, but somebody that really rose to prominence in just the last few months, largely off of his social media presence. I was talking to an 18-year-old, Mateo, who just registered to vote for the first time and voted for the first time. And he said that he and his friends were galvanized to Zohran Mamdani's message, and that is what led him to actually go and vote today. I want to let you listen to both Andrew Cuomo's take on this race and on his opponent, and Mamdani, who is, again, half of his age and is trying to present voters a very different version of New York City's future. If you win, what does this say about the city, but also the country?
That we're ready for a new generation of leadership, that we're ready for a city we can afford, and that we're ready to actually vote for something. Because that's what I've heard, a hunger to actually have a vision for what these 5 boroughs could be, not just a fear of what it is today.
Why do you want to run this city?
I want to run this city because I love this city. It is what my family is all about. It's what my family worked to produce. I'm afraid for what's happening for New York City. I served as HUD secretary. I've seen cities decline. This city is declining.
Now, of course, Andrew Cuomo resigned 4 years ago after 11 women came forward with allegations of sexual harassment. One gentleman who I just talked to, Daniel, that walked in, put Brad Lander, who is the city comptroller, who is sort of in polling somewhere around number 3. So this is not just the two-man race. There are 11 folks in it here, but there's a lot of questions, especially with that ranked choice voting. We may not know the result tonight.
And Vaughn, smart man, moved inside from that triple-digit heat really quickly, though. Do you get the sense that those temperatures have stifled turnout at all?
I think it's a good question on turnout. I can say we've seen a steady flow of folks that have been coming here through this Midtown East, Manhattan location throughout the day. I've watched several people and talking to some poll workers who have shared stories of folks that, despite the heat, have worked to make their way in and were determined to vote. I did, unfortunately, watch one man go down to his knees because of the heat outdoors. He is still intending to vote. So I think that it's a difficult weather day. At the same time, as you mentioned, 1 million Democrats that are potentially going to be coming to the polls here in a very important race, not just for New York, but really to get the temperature of the Democratic Party nationally, potentially.
Vaughn Hilliard, live for us in New York City. Vaughn, thank you. I want to turn now to Steve Kornacki. Let's bring you in here. What are you keeping your eyes on tonight?
Yeah, a couple of things here, Gabe. I mean, first of all, look, these are the major contenders here, the Democratic side. You mentioned that ranked choice component of this, where voters are asked when they get the ballot, pick up to 5 candidates, rank them in order of preference. When they start tabulating, the lowest performers get knocked out. Their votes get reallocated, second, third choice, that sort of thing. And one of those dynamics, I think you heard Vaughn talking about it, was that Mamdani has an alliance here with another candidate, Brad Lander, who's been running third in the polls. They've been telling each other supporters, hey, you know, Landers have been saying vote for Lander first, rank Mamdani second. Mamdani has been saying rank me first, but include Lander on your ballot. And nobody, they've been telling their supporters, rank Cuomo. So that becomes sort of the new layer of this, where even if in the initial count Cuomo wins, what Mamdani is counting on is that there's a lot of anti-Cuomo votes out there that would eventually sort of filter his way as this very complicated ranked choice tabulation plays out. But in terms of timing, we're not going to know tonight, because all they're going to give us tonight are the first choice votes. You could see that here. That is, again, you pick up to 5 in order. The first preference of voters is what we're going to learn tonight. And we're not even going to get all the votes tonight. What we're going to get are votes that were cast in person at the polls today, like you just saw where Vaughn was there. You're going to see votes that were cast early, and you're going to see votes that were cast by mail. The ballots, though, that were received before the weekend. So that's a lot of mail-in votes that have come in since the weekend. They're not going to be there tonight. That's what we're going to get tonight. Over the next week, more mail-in votes are going to be tabulated, are going to trickle in. If they're postmarked by today, they can still count. So it'll be next Tuesday. It'll actually be the 1st of July. That is when New York City is actually going to do this ranked choice tabulating. And we're going to see round by round. They'll do it instantly. You know, so you'll suddenly go from having just those first preference votes reported out to having everything reported out. But July 1st, next Tuesday, that's when we should know. Although I could note, if this thing is exceptionally close, if it's razor thin, that total next week still won't include the provisional ballots. That would probably be a week later. So if this thing is as razor thin as possible, we may still be 2 weeks away from finding out in this. And of course, it's New York City. We can get into this later, but it's possible these candidates, both Cuomo and Mamdani, don't call it quits tonight no matter what and go on to fight the general election. They both have the option to do that if they want. That could come into play after as well.
Steve Kornacki, we know you will be watching it all. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
You got it.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.